Hey, it's Nicole again, and this lesson will be about arrays. You've seen me use an array, and you'll need to use one too. I'll explain a little bit about what an array is and how to use it. So, the definition of an array is a container object that holds many values of a single type. So, you can hold many values of an integer, many values like of a string, etc. So when you set an array, you set the length, and that length is fixed for the duration of the lifetime of the array. So you're going to make sure you know how many spaces you need or want. When you set the array, you can also just set the values in it as well. So each element of the array or the array item has an identifying number set to it. So when you try and look up a certain item from the array, you just need to call the array name and then the located index number. Now, array index numbers start from 0, so the first item of an array will be location 0. So you've got to remember that so you don't get confused. So the array index count starts 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So here's the array that I've used in my game. As you can see, it's a string array, and I've just initially set all the things I want in the array already, instead of giving it a length. Okay, so now I'll show you how to set up a practice array so you can get used to using them. Okay, so I've gone ahead and typed most of it out so you don't have to sit there and watch me type for ages. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to set a string of an array of strings. As you can see, I've called it names, and I've set a few names: Sally, Matthew, Dennis, Mike. Now this is the first option for setting an array if you already know the initial values that you want. And when you're setting the values, you don't have to specify how long the string is, because it kind of gets the idea by the amount of values you add. So that's the first way of doing it. The second way of doing it is by first initializing this array of strings, and then setting how long you want it to be, the length. I've set it to 4, and then you can go ahead and set each index number of the array to a different value. So you don't have to do that straight away. You can do that throughout the program if you don't know the values at the start, or if you want to take input from a user or something and set it, as it goes. But for this example, I'll just set them all at the same time. So these arrays hold the exact same values. They're set differently, but they work in the exact same way, and I'll show you that now by outputting something. Okay, so the system out.print line, you've seen that a lot of times now. Okay, so first I'll output, let's say, the second index number of the array. So to do that, I go names, and then in these square brackets I put the number 1, because that's the second index number. Now I'm going to be cheeky and copy that so I don't have to type it again, and I will print out the exact same index number but for the other array, just to show you that they're exactly the same even though they were implemented differently. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. And it's printed out Matthew twice, because Matthew was the second index number of the array. So that is how an array works. And as you can see, you can have different types of arrays. It doesn't have to be a string. It could be a boolean or a long or a short, or you can even have an array of objects. Okay, so that's how my array works. As you can see, for the array in my game, I printed out using this little for statement. I'll explain this to you because you might not understand what this means. So I've set an integer in the for loop, which is an I, which is pretty much the counter for the loop. It starts at 0, and as long as the counter I is less than the length of the menu, it will keep going, and after each cycle through, it will add one to the counter. Okay, so in the actual code, it will print out the menu item for the index number, which is also the counter number. So as this carries through, that number will increase, so it will keep printing out the next number until there's nothing else in the menu. So that's how I've printed out my menu. I'll write a bit about the for loop in the tutorial, or in the written tutorial, so it might help you out a bit, because I haven't actually talked about that. So yeah, if you want to know more about the for loop, I'll have it written down probably above this video on the website. So yeah, that's pretty much it about arrays, and just carry on to the, or read the tutorial please, and then carry on to the activity, and yeah, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.